Good morning, student. Yesterday we discussed about molarity. Molarity is what? Number of moles of solute divided by volume of solution. Volume of solution in liters. Today we will discuss about normality. Normality is number of gram equivalent of solute dissolved per liter of solution. So let us start with normality. Here is normality. Normality is represented by capital N. And I told you what is the definition? Definition is number of gram equivalent. Number of gram equivalent of solute. And this solute is represented by 2 divided by volume of solution. That is the volume of solution in liters. So dear student, what will the unit of normality? That is gram equivalent. That is gram equivalent per liter, or simply capital N. That is unit of normality. Now in order to understand gram equivalent, first of all we have to know about the N factor. N factor of an acid here is, that is N factor. N factor of an acid, base and salt. Okay. So what about the N factor? So N factor means for acid it will be basicity of acid. Basicity of acid means it's a N factor. So what is that N factor? That is number of, here is number of H positive ion produced, that is produced or furnished by one molecule of acid, by one molecule, that is molecule of acid in aqueous solution. In aqueous solution. You got it or not? What I told you, that is that one molecule of acid, how many H positive it can furnish in the H positive, that is called its N factor. So dear, here I am writing some of the acid and their respective, here I am writing some of the acid and their respective N factor. N factor, or you can say for acid, it is basicity. This is basicity. So dear student, you will respond. Here is HCl. Its N factor is 1. Here is HNO3. Its N factor is 1. Here is H2SO4. How many H positive it can release? 2. Its N factor is 2. For the phosphoric acid. For phosphoric acid, here is H3 and PO4. Its N factor is 3. Here I am writing for phosphoric acid. Here is H3 and PO4. When this is dissolved in water, it loses 3 H positive. It furnish 3 H positive and 1 PO4 and 3 negative phosphate ion. Next one is, here is H3 and PO3. This is phosphonic acid or ortho phosphorus acid. Its N factor is what? Its N factor is 2. Here I am writing, there is H3 and PO3. This is ortho. I am writing name of this one. Ortho. Here is phosphorus acid. Phosphorus acid. OUS. That is phosphorus acid. When it is dissolved in water, it loses only 2 H positive and plus H. And here is PO4. There is 2 negative. So what about its N factor? How many H positive it is losing in the aqueous solution? So its N factor is 2. So it's a basicity. That is, its basicity is equal to 2. You got it or not? Next one is H3 and PO2. Hypophosphorus acid. Here is H3 and PO2. Its N factor is 1. Here I am writing. This is H3 and PO2. What I told, name of this acid is, that is hypophosphorus acid. This is hypo and here is phosphorus acid. Phosphorus acid. How many H positive it loses in the water, aqueous medium? Only one H positive. A rest 2H remains with this one. Here is one negative. So please tell me, what about its N factor? Its N factor is 1. So that we must know about their respective N factor. Now for what we calculated this N factor? We calculated in order to find out the gram equivalent. So my dear friend, what are the gram equivalent? Here I am writing, that is gram equivalent of any acid is equal to its number of moles, number of moles into what? Its N factor. Its N factor. In normality, what we have to find out? Number of gram equivalent dissolved per liter of the solution. So how this gram equivalent can be calculated? By multiplying number of moles with N factor. You got it or not? For example, you have to be, here is, for example, I am telling you that calculate, here is calculate number of gram equivalent, that is number of equivalents or gram equivalents in the following. My dear student, here is number 1 is, that is 49 gram of H2SO4 and number 2 is, here is 36.5 gram of HCl. Number 3, here is 126 gram of HNO3. Are you understanding what we are calculating? Here we are calculating number of gram equivalent. So my dear friend, I told you number of gram equivalent is number of moles into what? Into its N factor. Number of moles into its N factor. So dear friend, here is number 1. Now we know number of moles. How we can calculate number of moles? Mass in grams upon molar mass. This is number of moles. Then has to multiply with which one? With N factor. So tell me, in the first option, in the first question, here is 49 upon what? 98. 98 is molecular mass of sulfuric acid. And what about the N factor of sulfuric acid? No one responding. Please respond. So how many gram equivalents are there? That is equal to 1 gram equivalent. That is equal to 1 gram equivalent. You got it or not? Means, dear friend, if we have to convert number of moles into gram equivalent, we have to multiply with N factor. Is that clear? So next question number 2. Here what we have. So I am telling you, first of all, we have to here is 36.5 upon what? 36.5. Please tell me what these are. These are the number of moles. And we have to multiply with N factor. N factor for hydrochloric acid is 1. So how many gram equivalents are there? There is 1 gram equivalents. Then question number 3. In question number 3, we have 126. 126 divided by, that is molecular mass of nitric acid is 63. That is 63. So these are number of moles. But dear friends, ultimately we have to find out number of equivalents. So for number of equivalents is equal to what? Into its N factor. So how many gram equivalents are there? There are the 2 gram equivalents. Then So we calculated number of gram equivalents. So dear friend, now I am coming definition of which one? Definition of normality. Here is normality. Normality is represented by capital N. And you told me this is number of gram equivalent. Gram equivalent of solute divided by volume of solution in liters. That is the definition. Am I clear or not? So dear student, if we have to find out number of gram equivalent, if we have to find out number of gram equivalent of solute in the given solution, that is its normality into volume, volume of solution in liters. You got it or not? So dear student, that is equal to normality of the solution into what? Volume of solution in milliliter divided by what? Divided by 1000. That is number of gram equivalent. That is equal to number of gram equivalent. Dear student, if you know, if you have to find out number of moles is equal to molarity into volume of solution in liters. And if we have to find out number of gram equivalent, that is normality into volume of solution in liters. Is that clear? So dear student, let me write a simple question. Here is calculate, what we have to be calculate number of gram equivalent. Here is number of gram equivalents in 200 ml of 0.1 molar H2SO4 solution. Okay, let me take it normal first, then I will change into the, here is normal H2SO4 solution. So dear friend, I told you, here is gram equivalent. Gram equivalent is equal to what? Normality into volume. And volume of solution must be in liters. So what is normality here? Here is 0.1. Here is 200 divided by 1000. So how many gram equivalent is there? 0.02 gram equivalent of sulfuric acid. You got it or not? Dear student, what I am telling you, gram equivalents. Gram equivalents is number of moles into n factor. Gram equivalents can be calculated by multiplying normality of the solution with its volume. Volume must be in liters. Is that clear? Now, dear student, with the help of this n factor, one more thing that we can calculate, equivalent weight of an acid. That is equivalent weight. Here is equivalent weight of an acid. So that equivalent weight of an acid is simply represented by E, and that is equal to M upon its n factor. So dear student, are you understanding or not? E is what? E is the equivalent weight. Okay. So for example, if we have to be calculate equivalent weight of this following acid, here is, that is equivalent weight of following acid. Here we have few acids. I am writing few acids, and then that is HCl, H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3, phosphoric acid. Here is H3 and PO4. So dear student, here is equivalent weight of HCl. You will tell me its molecular mass is 36.5 upon n factor is 1. So its equivalent weight is equal to what? That is 36.5 upon 1. Here is equivalent weight of H2SO4 sulfuric acid, that is equal to 98, and its N factor is, I am waiting for your answer, its N factor is 2. So that is equal to 49. For the nitric acid, equivalent weight of, here is HNO3, and that is equal to what? That is equal to 63 upon what? 1, that is 63. Here is equivalent weight of, here is H3 and PO4, that is equal to, its molecular mass is also 98, divided by its N factor is 3. Here is 98 upon 98 upon what? Upon 3. Is that clear or not? My dear student, in the next, if we have to be calculate equivalent weight of H3 and PO3, we must know its molar mass is M divided by 2. Equivalent weight of, here is H3 and PO2, that is equal to what? M upon 1. Dear, in order to find out equivalent weight of an acid, we are dividing molar mass by N factor. N factor means that is basicity of an acid. Is that clear? So dear student, let us write for the base now. Here is, let us write for the base, that is acidity. Here is acidity of base. And do you know what is acidity of base? Number of, here is number of OH ion produced or furnished by one molecule of base. Please confirm definition. Here I am writing sum of base and their respective N factor. N factor means its acidity. N factor means acidity of base. I am writing here, then I ask to you. Here is NaOH. Its N factor is 1. Here is calcium hydroxide. N factor is 2. Here is aluminium hydroxide. N factor is 3. You got it or not? Please tell me. So, dear student, this N factor, with the help of this N factor, we can calculate number of gram equivalents as well as we can calculate equivalent weight of a particular base. Am I clear? Has to take some example, or let me write here. That is equivalent weight of which one? NaOH is equal to 40 upon what? 1, that is 40. Here is equivalent weight of calcium hydroxide, OH whole twice, that is equal to 74. 74 upon 2, that is 37. In the same way, here is equivalent weight of aluminium hydroxide. Here is OH whole thrice, its molar mass upon 3. Please confirm me. That is, we are talking about the respective N factor of acid, base, and now we will discuss about the N factor of salt. Here is, I am writing N factor of the salt. Here is N factor of salt. Dear student, I am taking some examples of the salt. Here is NaCl. Here is sodium sulfate. Just here is aluminium sulfate, Al2SO4, and whole thrice. Many more others. So dear student, here is total positive charge. Please tell me, what is total positive charge on NaCl? No one is responding. Dear student, here is Na positive, here is Cl negative. So total positive charge is 1. So total positive charge is 1 positive. And what about the total negative charge? Total negative charge. Please tell me, what is total negative charge? That is also 1. Definitely, salt is neutral. So total positive charge and total negative charge will be equal. In the same way, if we are talking about sodium sulfate, here is total positive charge is equal to, please tell me, 2. And the same way, total negative charge. Are you understanding or not? So, and the total negative charge, total negative charge over a salt, total positive charge and total negative charge, definitely that will be equal. In case of aluminium sulfate, total positive charge, total positive charge, you will write in the chat box and then I will write on the board. Please tell me, in case of aluminium sulfate, total positive charge. I am waiting for your answer. Look at here. Here is aluminium 3 positive. How many aluminium 3 positive are there? 2. So there is 6 positive. Sulfate, SO4 and 2 negative. What is the negative charge? Please respond. Understand this one. What is the negative charge on the sulfate? 2 negative. How many sulfate are there? 3 sulfate. So total negative charge is 6 negative. Confirm me, yes or no? I am asking you total positive charge and total negative charge. There are the 2 aluminium, each aluminium having 3 positive charge. So total positive charge is equal to what? 6 positive. And definitely, since it is neutral species, so total positive charge and total negative charge will be equal. Okay, let me take one more example. Here is aluminium AlCl3. AlCl3 is also salt. So dear, total positive charge, total positive charge. Now write, what is total positive charge? So aluminium, how many aluminium are there? Please respond. Dear, there is only one aluminium and the total positive charge on the aluminium is 3 positive. Only one aluminium. How many chloride are there? And each chloride has a 1 negative. So total positive charge is equal to what? And that is equal to total negative charge. Say yes or no. Is that clear? Dear, let me take one more sodium phosphate. Here is Na3 and here is PO4. So, dear student, now I will ask total positive charge. There is total positive charge. Total positive charge. Please tell me, what is total positive charge here? Total positive on sodium, 1 positive. How many sodium are there? There are 3 sodium. So total positive charge is 3 and total negative charge. Total negative charge. Definitely in a neutral molecule, total positive charge and total negative charge will be equal. Now it's clear to you or not? Dear student, why we are calculating this total positive charge and total negative charge? For a salt, n factor is equal to, for a salt, n factor is equal to, for salt, n factor of a salt is equal to, that is total positive charge or total negative charge. Total negative charge. Please confirm. Dear student, let me revise. Basically, we are calculating here normality. And normality is number of gram equivalent of solute divided by volume of solution. Now, how this gram equivalent of solute can be calculated? In order to calculate the gram equivalent of solute, we must know its n factor. Number of moles into n factor. In case of acid, number of moles into n factor. In case of base, number of moles into n factor. So, dear student, in case of salt, number of gram equivalent is equal to what? Number of moles into n factor. So, are you understanding why we are calculating this n factor? N factor we are calculating in order to find out number of gram equivalent, and from the number of gram equivalents we will find out normality. Am I clear? So let us come on the topic. Dear, I am asking you here. Here I am writing sum of salt and their respective n factor. And their respective n factor. I will write here NaCl. N factor is 1. Sodium sulfate. N factor is 2. Ammonium sulfate, or let me, ammonium nitrate. Do you know ammonium? NH4 positive and NO3 negative. Ammonium nitrate. N factor is 1. Ammonium, here is ammonium, twice sulfate. Will you tell me? Ammonium sulfate. One ammonium contains one positive, two ammonium contains two. Here is 2. Then here is aluminium sulfate, SO4 whole thrice. Its N factor is 6. Then here is sodium phosphate. Here is PO4. N factor is 3. So, dear student, if we calculated n factor, we know about the n factor, definitely we can calculate its equivalent weight. Equivalent weight of NaCl is equal to its molar mass, 58.5 divided by 1. Equivalent weight of sodium sulfate, here is Na2 and SO4, and that is sodium sulfate molecular mass m divided by 2. Here is equivalent weight of ammonium. Here is NH4, ammonium nitrate, that is equal to its molar mass upon what? 1. Here is equivalent weight of aluminium sulfate, Al2, and here is SO4 whole thrice is equal to what? Its molar mass upon 6. Then equivalent weight of, okay, here is, this is for aluminium sulfate, equivalent weight of ammonium sulfate. Equivalent weight of, here is NH4 whole twice and SO4, that is equal to what? Here is molar mass upon 2. Equivalent weight of which one? Sodium phosphate, PO4, that is equal to what? Molar mass upon 3. Please tell me what we calculated. We calculated n factor, and from n factor we can calculate number of gram equivalent, or we can calculate equivalent weight of acid, equivalent weight of base, equivalent weight of salt. Am I clear? So, dear student, once again I will move on the definition of normality, because everything that we are solving here, that is for normality. Here is, we are calculating normality. Normality is capital N, and this normality is equal to, will you tell me, number of gram equivalent upon what? Volume of solution in liters. Now I think gram equivalent is nothing. That is number of moles into n factor. Number of moles of solute upon volume of solution in liters. Say yes or no. And do you know this number of moles of solute upon volume is what? That is molarity. So dear student, here is normality. Normality is equal to molarity. This is molarity into what? N factor. So, my dear friend, in order to understand simplest definition of normality, you can say normality is elder sister of molarity. When molarity is multiplied with n factor, we get its normality. You got it or not? Don't worry, we will explain it properly. What I am telling you, the simplest way to understand the normality. Normality is nothing but that is molarity into n factor. So dear student, here I am writing calculate, here is calculate normality of following solutions. We have few solutions and their molar concentration is given to me, and we have to be, number one is 0.1 molar HCl, number two is 0.2 molar H2SO4, number three 0.1 molar of H3 and PO4, number 4 here is 0.2 molar of H3 and PO3, number 5 here is 0.1 molar of H3 and PO2. So dear, normality of this HCl 0.1 into its n factor. Here is 0.1 normal. Confirm. Here is normality 0.2 its molarity into its n factor, that is 0.4 normal. Normality 0.1 into its n factor is 3, 0.3 normal. Confirm me. Then here is, I am asking you, n factor of this one. Have you remembered? This is 2. And do you know n factor? N factor of this one is 1. So dear, in order to find out normality, that is 0.2 into what? Into 2 is equal to 0.4 normal. Here is normality 0.1 into its n factor is 1, 0.1 normal. So dear friend, if we are provided with the molarity of a particular solution, we can convert that into the normality. I am writing for bases also. 6th one is, here is 0.1 molar NaOH. 7th one is 0.2 molar calcium hydroxide. Then number 8, 0.1 molar aluminium hydroxide. Now number 9, for the salt, 0.1 molar sodium sulfate. Here is sodium sulfate. Number 10, 0.1 molar aluminium sulfate, Al2SO4 whole thrice. What we have to convert? We have to convert these into the normality. So will you help me? Here is normality. Normality is equal to 0.1 into 1, that is 0.1. Is it visible to you in the red? I think maybe. So that is 0.1 normal. Here is normality 0.2 into its n factor is 2. That is 0.2 normal. Normality. This is 0.1. Its n factor is 3. It is 0.3 normal. Here is normality 0.1. Its n factor is 2. 0.2 normal. Here is normality 0.1 into 6. 0.6 normal. Now first of all, confirm me, then I will move further. We are given with molarity of the solution of a acid, base, salt, and we can convert that into its normality by multiplying with its n factor, and the n factor of acid, base and the salt can be calculated. For acid, number of H positive that can furnish by the one molecule of acid, that is called its n factor. For base, number of OH negative that can be furnished by the one molecule of base, that is n factor of base. For salt, total positive charge or total negative charge. You got it or not? So my dear students, now what are the uses of this n factor? I told you, number one, to calculate number of gram equivalents. Number of moles into n factor is number of gram equivalents. Confirm. Second one is to calculate the equivalent weight. Equivalent weight is what? Molar mass upon n factor. And number 3 is to calculate normality from the molarity. We are provided with the molarity, and if we multiply with the n factor, we will calculate its normality. Is that clear, students? Now, once again, basically, we are just understanding definition of normality. Once again, I will write here definition of which one? Normality. So, that is number of gram equivalent of solute, volume of solution in, if it is in milliliter, then has to multiply with 1000. Now, number of gram equivalent is number of moles of solute into its n factor, and divided by volume of solution in which one? In milliliter. Then we have to be multiplied with which one? With the 1000. Are you understanding or not? Now dear, this number of moles, we know very well. I am on the definition of normality only. This number of moles is the mass of solute upon molar mass of solute into what? Into n factor and volume of solution in milliliter into 1000. Is that clear or not? I am writing here. Question: if 49 gram of H2SO4 is dissolved in 250 ml of solution, calculate normality. We have to be calculate normality of the solution. You got the question? Dear friend, what we are finding here? Normality. Mass of the solute is 49. What is molar mass of sulfuric acid? 98. Volume of solution is 250 ml. Has to multiply with n factor. N factor for the sulfuric acid is 2. Then this volume has to convert into, you got it or not? Please tell me. 4 gram equivalent per liter, or that is equal to 4 normal. That is equal to 4 normal. Is that clear? Dear student, we can solve various number of the problem based on this definition. Now, one thing that I want to be, that is important, that I thought important. Yesterday I taken 0.1 molar H2SO4 solution. Here is H2SO4. It changes in, it gives 2 H positive and plus SO4 and 2 negative. What is the molarity of the sulfuric acid? 0.1 molar. What is molarity of the H positive? Last point I am discussing with you, so please be attentive. What is molar concentration of H positive? 0.2 molar. What is molar concentration of sulfate? Here I am taking, next one is 0.1 molar H3 and PO4. Here is H3PO4. H3PO4 produces 3H positive and plus, here is phosphate. So dear student, what is molarity of the phosphoric acid? Here is 0.1. What will be the molarity of the H positive ion in the solution? Please tell me. That is 0.3 and it is 0.1 molar respectively. 0.1 molar aluminium sulfate. Last point I am discussing, so please be attentive. Here is Al2 and SO4 whole thrice. Its molarity is what? 0.1 molar. So what about the molarity of aluminium? Here is 3SO4 and 2 negative. You will write in the chat box, then I will write on the board. Please tell me, what is molar concentration of aluminium? That is 2 into 0.1. This is 0.2 molar aluminium ion. And what about the sulfate? 0.1 is the molarity of aluminium sulfate, has to multiply with 3. That is 0.3 molar. You got it or not? So please respond for that. The only last point, but in case of normality, here we have 0.1 normal H2SO4. There is a difference, my dear students. Earlier we have taken example of molarity. Now here is normality. This is H2SO4. It will give you 2H positive and plus SO4 and 2 negative. What about the normality of the sulfuric acid? 0. Just I am completing, sir. 0.1. Just tell me, what will be the normality of the H positive? You will write, then I will write on the board. I am asking, what will be the normality of H positive? Anyone? It is 0.1. Let me state one statement. Number of equivalent, ratio of equivalent is always 1:1:1. This is very important statement. So please be attentive. What I am telling you, whenever we talk in the term of equivalent, ratio is always 1:1:1. Is that clear? Okay, last I am taking here. Here I am taking 0.2 aluminium sulfate. Here is Al2 SO4 whole thrice. It will change into 2 aluminium, 3 positive and plus 3SO4, 2 negative. I will ask you, what is normality? 0.2 normal aluminium sulfate. So will you tell me what will be the normality of aluminium 3 positive ion? Okay, let me write here 0.2 normal, that is 0.2 normal. This is important one to understand. Once again I am repeating, whenever we talk in the term of gram equivalent, then the ratio of the gram equivalent will be always 1:1:1. There will be no multiplication. with the stoichiometry. Is that clear? So thank you very much, students. Rest we will discuss in the regular classes. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey everyone, very good morning to all of you. So here today I am going to start with a very interesting topic of physics. So there is a slight, there might be a slight confusion with the thumbnail, but don't worry about it. The mentioned topic as of now is NLM, but today I wanted to interact with you. So I just switched the plan and I'm going to take a very interesting topic of motion in a straight line. The topic is Galileo's formula. So the reason why I have switched to this topic particularly, because even after throughout the journey of academic preparation of say 2 years or 3 years or 1 year, especially in the long-term program, one of the topics in physics with which the students keep feeling a bit of struggle is, a bit of discomfort is motion in a straight line itself. So today we are not going to only start with the fundamentals of the topic, but also we are going to understand that how to do the problems easily, or you can say mentally. I mean, every problem the NEET has asked related to that topic, I have tried to take up all the problems in this lecture. I'll be trying to do the same. Okay. So in this Galileo's formula, whatever the NEET has asked many good problems of motion under gravity, motion in a straight line, by proper understanding of this formula, all of you will be, easily able to do the problems mentally. Okay. You won't even need the pen and paper to solve it sometimes. Right. So let's not talk much. Let's understand the depth of the topic first. Okay. So the topic is fundamentals of motion, that is fundamentals of motion under gravity. So motion under gravity is indeed a topic of motion in a straight line in which the body is about to move under the influence of gravity and along the y-axis. Okay, so the equations, first of all, we will understand it fundamentally. Then we will see how Galileo has already made our job easy. Okay, so motion under gravity fundamentals are, suppose I'll start with the case studies first of all. It's a type of motion under gravity if we talk about. It's a type of uniformly accelerated motion. Uniformly accelerated motion. In this uniformly accelerated motion, we will say that is your acceleration is going to be equal to minus g, which is a constant. Now, few of you are in the impression, sir, that if the body is moving up, gravity is acting down, take it as negative. But if the body is also moving down and gravity is acting down, let's take it as positive. So generally students are habitual to think this way. Here I am going to give you a different opinion on this, that if you want your physics to be correct till the end, starting from the first equation which you have used in the questions of motion, till the end, if you want to solve the problem accurately and appropriately, then make sure that you are using the vector convention, which means instead of thinking that whether the gravity is supporting the nature of the supporting the motion of the body or opposing the motion of the body, you just think simply that where the body is moving, like where the displacement is, in which direction the velocity is, in which direction the acceleration is. So for example, in y-axis, if we talk about motion, uniformly accelerated motion in y-axis. So in y-axis, we are going to stick with the convention that all the upward vectors are treated to be positive and all the downward vectors are treated to be negative. I repeat, all the upward vectors are treated to be positive and all the downward vectors are treated to be negative. Means irrespective of the fact that where the body is moving, the gravity, the acceleration is always going to act downwards, and hence the acceleration due to gravity must always be treated as negative. I repeat, till now you might be sticking with the rule that, sir, sometimes we will take the gravity positive, sometimes we will take acceleration due to gravity negative. But I have shared a different opinion that irrespective of the question and the type of motion body is exhibiting, in this topic and everywhere in physics, you will find me taking acceleration due to gravity always negative. So I'll stick with the convention for all the chapters and questions of physics Upward vectors positive, downward vectors negative. Gravity is always negative, hence gravity is always downwards, and hence gravity will be always taken as negative. All right. I hope you are understanding this thing. So yeah, topic name is Galileo's formula, which we are taking right now. So in y-axis, this convention we are going to follow. So naturally the equations which you are going to use are s equal to u, ut plus half a d square, v equal to u plus at, like those equations. So I'll start with the fundamental one. V vector equals to u vector plus a vector into t. So v vector is equal to u vector plus minus g into t. Second equation will be s vector equals to u vector into t plus half minus g into t square. And the third one is v square equals to u square plus 2 a dot s, so minus g into s. I think that's clear for you. Okay, so here we can just mention it like this. Acceleration, like basically it is v square is equal to u square plus 2 a dot s. So I'm just substituting the acceleration with its sign, plus minus sign. I hope the logic is clear to you. So what you have told, sir, I have told that any question based on motion under gravity comes, the basic equations of motion can be used to solve those problems. We will see. But today's agenda is not to just solve the problems, but to take the advantage of Galileo's formula in solving those questions. Okay. So we will talk about it. Okay. So concept number one. First of all, what Galileo told us. So let's take a quick recap of the concepts. Then I'll give you some hints, and then we will directly talk about. In every session, if you remember, we directly take up the understanding of the topic, and then we jump onto the NEET PYQs. So our actual goal is going to be the national level exam, that is the NEET, and hence in every meeting we will try to learn something which will bag few problems for the final NEET exam. Okay. So concept one. In case of free fall, Galileo's formula is applicable only in case of free fall. So we will say that if a body is in free fall, that is, what are the conditions? We will say initial velocity is going to be 0 and acceleration is going to be minus g. Don't forget, it's going to be a constant. Okay. If that is so, if this is the situation given for us, then first formula which Galileo gave is ratio of distances traveled in equal time intervals. Ratio of distances traveled in equal time intervals is given by 1:3:5:7 and so on. So this is basically ratio of odd numbers. So where to stop, sir? That depends on how many equal time intervals you are talking about. I repeat, ratio of distances traveled in equal time intervals, that depends on how many time intervals you are talking about, but that is independent of time duration. I mean, that is, this ratio 1:3:5:7 will hold true even if you are talking about, sir, a body is in free fall, you have released the body from the top of the tower. Now if the time interval is taken to be 1 second, so in the first 1 second, in the next 1 second, in the next 1 second, the ratio of distances traveled will be 1:3:5:7, and you have to agree with that. The reason is, you can feel that, sir, if the body is just dropped, not thrown, it is just dropped or released from the top of the tower. In that case, with the passage of time, the body will keep on getting faster and faster and faster. If the body keeps on getting faster and faster and faster, then obviously in equal time intervals, it is going to travel a greater and greater and greater distance. In the first time interval, I'll show that diagrammatically to you. You'll understand it better. What I'm saying is that suppose from the top of a tower, Suppose from the top of a tower of height h, there is a body. This body has been released. This is not thrown. This is either released or dropped. Released or dropped. That is, you will say your initial velocity is 0. If in this case its initial velocity is 0 and obviously the acceleration is minus g constant, if it travels a distance x in the first t0 time, if it travels a distance x, naturally it will get faster. In the influence of gravity, its speed will keep on increasing. In the next t0 time, it will travel a bit more. Y. And in the next t0 time, it will travel a bit more, that is z. So what I'm trying to say that here, x ratio y ratio z is given by 1 ratio 3 ratio 5 independent of value of t0, independent of the actual time duration, means that time interval should be equal. That equal time intervals may be 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, that may be 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, that may be 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 4 days, 4 days, like that. Obviously, that is not practical for taking it free fall to be 4 days. I'm just giving you an example that definitely this is ratio of odd numbers and it is independent of actual time duration. Independent of actual time duration. That time interval must be equal. How much it should be exactly, that doesn't matter to you. I hope the logic is clear to you. Many good problems of motion, you will be able to solve it mentally without even using pen and paper. We will see, we will directly start from the NEET PYQs. But tell me first of all, is this much understood? Is this much understood? So it is independent of actual time duration. The ratio is going to be the ratio of odd numbers. This is the actual situation for you. Proof is not required. We are not getting into the proof. But yes, one small tip I would definitely share. I will say the same thing, same concept can be applied, because the proof I am not telling you, I am just telling you the tip. Same concept can be applied to any case of uniformly accelerated motion. To any case of uniformly accelerated motion, we will also see these cases. I mean, it's not necessary that you talk about the motion under gravity only. You can talk about any case of uniformly accelerated motion, provided you have started from rest. Okay, rest. So can be applied to any case of uniformly accelerated motion starting from rest. Okay, I hope this much is clear to you. Okay, so you can take the screenshot also, but the notes will be directly shared on the Telegram group. I hope you have already joined the Telegram group. If not, then the link will be available in the description of the video. You can join it from there. All the notes, all the important updates are being shared on the Telegram group. And if you want any other, if you like this lecture and if you want any other topic taught by me, then on the YouTube you can simply write the name of the topic, that's so and so and so XYZ topic by Abhilash sir or by Abhilash Jha sir physics. You'll definitely get a lot of stuff to learn. Okay, so our team is already there for you to guide you in every step you need, and hopefully we will definitely interact in live, when you will come to the campus. And let's be a part of the winning team here. Let's have some good goals for the upcoming year, for the upcoming NEET examination. We are going to rock. Chalo, I hope this is good for you. Let me take you to the concept 2 related to the same thing, that is Galileo's formula. What is the feeling behind Galileo's formula is that if you just drop a body, if you just release a body under the influence of gravity, so it will keep on getting faster and faster and faster. So in equal time, the distances traveled will be this much, then this much, then this much. I mean, the distance traveled, the width of the distance traveled will keep on increasing, which we have already seen here, x, y, z. That is as per the feeling. What Galileo felt, you and I can also feel. Okay, but we are a bit late to say something and get a recognition. Galileo already did that. Fine. So other thing is, if you take the equal time of traveling, the distances traveled will be keep on increasing. But if you want to consider the equal distances traveled, equal distances traveled, then the time taken for the same will keep on reducing. I mean, if I'm getting faster and faster, then first 10 meters I may travel in 5 seconds, but I have become faster. So in next 10 meters, I won't take that much time of 5 seconds. I may travel it in 4 seconds. Next 10 meters, I again won't take even 4 seconds. I may be able to travel within 3 seconds or 2 seconds, like that. Do you agree? So what I'm trying to tell in concept 2 is that the time interval required for the equal distances to be traveled is going to get reduced, So now what it is, we will say for a body in free fall, that is as of now, which case we are considering here, that initial velocity will be 0 and acceleration will be equal to minus g, and that is going to be constant. The ratio of, and I hope I have used the term consecutive, the ratio of distances traveled in successive equal time intervals, because these are successive time intervals. Okay, that is the ratio. So what we are going to use here is the ratio of time taken, to travel successive equal distance intervals. Definitely that will keep on decreasing. I mean, the distance traveled in same successive time interval will keep on increasing, but the time taken to travel the same distance will keep on decreasing. I'll explain it to you diagrammatically also, that suppose this is going to be my object. Which has been released or dropped. That is, you will say that your initial velocity is going to be 0. Now suppose I talk about the equal distance intervals. So this interval is d0, next interval is also d0, next interval is also d0. If the time taken to travel this distance is t1, and this time taken to travel this distance is d2, and this time taken to travel this distance is t3, then what I'm trying to say is, if the body will keep on getting faster and faster and faster, definitely the time taken will keep on getting reduced, less. So I can just talk about the data. This data is given by root 1 minus root 0, ratio root 2 minus root 1, this is the ratio root 3 minus root 2, or that can also be simplified as 1 ratio root 2 minus root 1, ratio root 3 minus root 2. So if you just compare the data, 1 is 1 only, root 2 means 1.414 minus 1, that is 0.414. This data actually means 1 ratio 0.414. Similarly, ratio 1.732 minus 1.414. So this is the ratio that keeps on decreasing. I hope now the logic is clear to you. That keeps on decreasing. Earlier, this data, the distance traveled in equal time intervals, because the body is getting faster, naturally will keep on increasing. What is the ratio? That is given to you, dear. Similarly, here, the time taken to travel equal distance intervals, because the body is getting faster, that will keep on reducing. And what is the ratio? Galileo already gave that. है ना? Proof is not required. I hope the logic is clear to you. Now we are going to start with the problems. Already we have understood the fundamentals. You just see that how mentally you can do the, or in maximum 1 step, 2 step, how you can do the NEET PYQs. I'll start with the NEET PYQs. But before that, let's take a quick recap. So what we have learned today, the topic today, the very interesting topic, igniting topic today is Galileo's formula, motion under gravity. Any problem of motion under gravity comes in the NEET exam or comes in any other exam, you can directly do that by the use of basic uniformly accelerated motion equations. Stick with the vector that all the upward vectors are positive, all the downward vectors are negative. Since gravity will always act downward, always treat the acceleration as minus g irrespective of direction of motion of body. Stop thinking that body will move up, so gravity will oppose, take it as negative. Stop thinking that body will move down, gravity is acting down, so let us take it as positive. Stop thinking this way. Stop thinking whether gravity is supportive or opposing. Start thinking that since gravity will always act downward, and in physics all the downward vectors we are bound to take it as negative. I hope that's clear to you, right? So any question that can be solved by this. Then what we are trying to do today, sir, today we are trying to eliminate the use. We don't want to use equations. Today we want to learn how to learn the physics easily, how to do the questions, not only by, longer approaches, but how to do the maximum questions coming in the NEET exam mentally. Okay. I hope the logic is clear to you. Two concepts we have learned before starting the problem. Concept number one, once again, in case of free fall, the body will keep on getting faster and faster and faster. So the distances traveled in successive equal time intervals will keep on increasing. The ratio will be given by 1:3:5:7, ratio of odd numbers irrespective of actual duration of the time interval. Okay. Next is concept 2. Since the body will keep on getting faster, the way it keep on traveling greater distances in equal time. So in order to travel the equal distances, it will keep on taking the lesser time, decreasing time, and that decreasing time pattern is root of n minus root n minus 1, like that. Like root 1 minus root 0, ratio root 2 minus root 1, ratio root 3 minus root 2. If you are so lucky in the final NEET exam, you will directly get one of the options and one of the questions based on Galileo's formula. Nothing to solve, just to remember. But now, even if the question gets modified and you get a good question, now let's see how to do that. Let's see how to do that. Okay. So the question is, first question, a stone falls freely under gravity, minded dear. So the first thing is, a stone falls freely under gravity. The moment they say freely under gravity, remember Galileo's formula can be applied irrespective of the question. No viscosity, nothing, no air drag, nothing. So it covers distances h1, h2 and h3 in the first 5 seconds, next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds. So these intervals, first 5 seconds, next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds. This actual data of 5 seconds doesn't matter to you. Since the time intervals are equal, since u is equal to 0, a is equal to minus g, constant, and time interval is constant. T0 is constant, irrespective of value. Constant. Value, actual value doesn't matter. Its value doesn't matter. In the final exam, you need not to write this. I am explaining it to you, so I am taking some time. Otherwise, you can do this problem mentally. So how they are correlating h1, h2, h3, h1, h2, h3. Then I will say that if you imagine a tower, the way we have done, if you imagine the tower, then h1, if this is h1, this is h2 and this is h3. So here you will say that h1 ratio h2 ratio h3, h1 ratio h2 ratio h3, that will be equal to 1 ratio 3 ratio 5. 1 ratio 3 ratio 5. Okay. Or you can say that since h2 will be 3h1, h2 will be 3h1 and h5 will be h3 will be 5h1. H3 will be 5h1. So what we can say, that h1 will be equal to h2 by 3 and that will be h3 by 5. I hope the logic is clear to you. Okay. Obviously the first one will be the least. You might get also confused with, if the only option containing 1, 3, 5, this is a NEET PYQ here. The only option containing 1, 3, 5, these numerical values are anyways option D only. So otherwise also, if you just remember, you might forget the actual formula. You should not though. But even if you remember that ratio of odd number, something like that was there, sir, 1 ratio 3 ratio 5. The only option containing that is only option D. I hope the logic is clear to you. Okay, I'm taking you to the next problem. This is also a NEET PYQ here. This problem is, and you just see how many problems we will do in how many minutes. We won't take preferably more than a minute to solve a problem. So this is a related problem, similar but not the same. I repeat, similar but not the same. Be careful. A particle starts its motion from rest and under the action of a constant force. Starting from rest and under the action of constant force means constant acceleration. So the same Galileo formula can also be applied to uniformly accelerated motion cases in which the particle is starting from rest. So same can be applied here. They say if the distance covered in the first 10 seconds is S1 and the first 20 seconds is S2. Now what does that mean? It will say that, it says that suppose you are traveling from, again imagine that as if you are getting dropped. Safe assumption that this type of motion can also be related to motion under gravity. This constant force can be your constant weight act. So safe assumption is this. From here, if the body is getting dropped, I mean the initial velocity is 0, motion under gravity, free fall, then we will say that here, suppose it travels in first 10 seconds, this is S1 in 10 seconds, okay, and that covered in the first 20 seconds means from here to here, this one is S2 in 20 seconds, first 20 seconds, not the next 20 seconds, but the first 20 seconds. In that case, you will say if this distance is S1, naturally this distance from here to here in next 10 seconds by Galileo's formula, in next 10 seconds, so you can do this by equation also. You can do this by equation, but today we don't want to use the equation, sir. So in the next 10 seconds, naturally this distance will be 3S1. So clearly what you can say is S2 will be equal to S1 plus 3S1. Hence the final answer will be 4S1. Final answer is going to be S2 is equal to 4S1, option C. I hope the logic is clear to you. You can take the screenshot, then I'll modify this problem for you. Suppose this is just a modified version. It has nothing to do with this problem. It is a modified version. Suppose they refer to next 20 seconds. Then, I repeat my question. So here they are talking about the S2 in the first 20 seconds. Suppose they want to take the next 20 seconds. Then your S2 value will be equal to next 20 seconds means 10 seconds, next 20 seconds means again 10, then again 10. I repeat, first 10 seconds and first 20 seconds are sorted. Question is there, answer is there, end of the story. But if the language say and that covered in the next 20 seconds, then I would suggest you to break the interval into first 10, next 20 means next 10 and next 10. So how many such intervals you have? 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10, x, y, z, which means you will say that that will be equal to x plus y plus z. X value is if S1, then y value will be 3S1 and z value will be 5S1 because it should be 1:3:5. And hence the final answer will be 1 plus 3, 4 plus 5, 9S1, 9S1. So this could have been your result. This could have been your result only if they talk about the next 20 seconds. I hope the beauty of the language of the question is clear to you. Okay. Now you can take the screenshot. Now it contains the modification also. Do that. Yeah. Hopefully that is understood. Isn't it easy to solve mentally the NEET PYQs? So spread these sessions to majority of your friends, all the people who are sitting back at home right now. They should be, learning those fundamentals. And if you are properly planning, your upcoming effort in a very nice way, then every day should be countable for you. Yeah. Okay. So spread these things and spreading knowledge will definitely give you, definitely bring good things to you also. So spreading knowledge is always a good thing. And definitely you can also learn a lot and you can help your friends also learning a lot. Chaliye, let's take our journey further. Let's see how other NEET PYQs can also be done mentally. So I will try to give you by equations also some solution, but then we will also replace the equation method by mental calculations. Okay, that's easy. We are just taking the advantage of what Galileo gave to us. Now, what will be the ratio of the distances moved by a freely falling body from rest in 4th and 5th seconds of journey? 4th and 5th seconds of journey. Way 1. Distance traveled in 4th second by distance traveled in 5th second. So distance traveled in nth second, I can use the formula u plus a by 2 2n minus 1. I hope everyone knows this is also commonly called as the fourth equation of uniformly accelerated motion. By v equal to u plus at, s equal to ut plus half ad square, those 9th class based equations are anyways the three equations. This is also sometimes commonly called as the fourth general equation of uniformly accelerated motion. So I can do that do this question. Generally people do this question by this method only. So freely falling body ke liye initial velocity will be 0. Acceleration can be considered as minus g, this is by 2, and this is 2 into 4 minus 1. Okay. And if I talk about the fourth and fifth second, I think they are talking about, right? So that will be 0 plus minus g by 2. I told you, irrespective of the direction of motion, always have a habit to take the gravity as negative because it is always going to act downwards. Now I can say this minus g by 2 got cancelled, 0, 0 is anyways gone, and hence the final answer what you got is 2 into 4, 8 minus 1 is 7, and this 2 into 5, 10 minus 1 is 9. I think the logic is clear to you. So this is the result which you are going to get by this method, way 1. Way 2, what we can do, sir? Way 2, let us understand. Way 2 is feeling based. Feel it. Now physics is all about the feelings here. Maths is just a tool to help out your physics, right? Physics is different. You can just feel that. So how do you feel this situation? You will say, sir, a body is traveling from rest in fourth and fifth second. You have to talk about the distance traveled. So it is free fall case, Galileo's case. So what you are going to do, if you talk about the first second, ratio second, ratio third second, ratio fourth second, or I should write it this way, that distance traveled in first, ratio distance traveled in second, ratio distance traveled in third, ratio distance traveled in fourth, ratio distance traveled in fifth, because it is just 4-5 seconds like that. So what is that? 1 ratio 3 ratio 5 ratio 7 ratio 9. Since they are talking about this ratio to this ratio, hence the final answer is 7 ratio 9. Clearly you can say that distance traveled in fourth by distance traveled in fifth, and the answer will be simply 7 ratio 9. Hope it is clear. Okay. By equations also you can solve those problems, and if you don't want to solve those by equation, then on your fingertips you can easily do that. Okay. I hope the logic is clear. So two bodies, A of mass 1 kg and B of mass 3 kg, masses don't matter in the equations of motion. Equations of motion are independent of mass. Equations of motion, kinematics equation, are mass independent. Mass M independent. They don't depend on mass. So even if the mass is given in the question, don't get worried. It is going to be a simple, very simple analysis for us. It is dropped from height of 16 meter and 25 meter respectively. The ratio of the time taken by them to reach the ground, wave 1 can be written as time taken for like TA body to TB body. It is under root of 2h by g. So under root of 2 HA by g by under root of 2 HB by g. So if you see that carefully, it is under root of HA by HB. Root 2 by g got cancelled. It is 16 by 25, and hence the answer will be 4 by 5. Way 1 of doing that. Way 2 might look longer, but again, if you already know that, if you already have a practice of doing Galileo's formula, you can avoid the equations and you can directly do it by a simpler approach. How you can do that? For 16 meters, you will say, see, it's an interesting one. Database analysis hai, interesting one hai. So if you talk about the first second, suppose it travels for first few t0 time, it travels 1 meter. Then in next t0 time, it will travel 3 meter. In next t0 time, it will travel 5 meter. In next t0 time, it will travel 7 meter. So if you add them up, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7, you will see that answer is coming out to be 16 meters. 16 meter in 4 t0. And if you analyze it further, For body, this is for body A. For body B, you will say 1 meter, then 3 meter, then 5 meter, then 7 meter, then 9 meter. Interestingly, if you will add them all up, then you are going to get it as 25 meter. You can check. And that is traveled in 5 T naught. 5 T naught. So if you want to take the ratio here, if you want to take the ratio of 4 T naught and 5 T naught, I mean, if you want to take the ratio of time interval of A by time interval of B, so that will be 4 T naught by 5 T naught, and hence the answer will be 4:5. Hence the answer will be 4:5. T naught will naturally get cancelled. Answer will be 4:5. Hope you are getting the idea what I am talking about. Okay. So in both the cases, answer is coming out to be 4:5. It's completely dependent on your comfort here. You are going to decide, you are the only one who is going to decide in the exam which approach to be opted. But yes, one fact is there. If you are comfortable with the practicing of like both the approaches, then only you can compare the complexity. Then only you can choose the easier one. Okay. If you don't have the idea, if you don't have the knowledge, definitely you have to get, you'll get a restricted thought. You won't be able to think about it carefully and easily. Okay. So I hope this logic is clear to you. Suppose we talk about the next one. I hope you have taken the screenshot here. Take the screenshot. Next one. Henna motion in a straight line, easy chapter, no? Why we are bothering this much? We don't know, sir. Right? Let us talk about the next one. A body freely falling from a height h describes 7h by 16 in the last second of its fall. The height h is just now, as per the previous problem, as we have learnt in the previous one. What we have learned, the database analysis, the way to, as we have learnt in the previous problem, can I otherwise by equation base it is going to be a long solution. Way 1 by equations it is going to be a long solution. Database you can just feel the data and you can answer it mentally. See what I am going to say. In the previous problem we have learned that if it is this is h, then this is 3h, and then this is 5h, and then this is 7h, and then this is 9h, and then this is 11h, like that. So generally if you consider this one, h plus 3h plus 5h plus 7h, that is going to give you 16h. And for later on questions I will also tell you, generally if you consider this one like this, then 16h plus 9h it is going to be your 25h. But in this particular problem they are talking about this one, 16h, 7h by 16 in the last seconds. So see, in the first second it travels h by 16. In the second it travels 3h by 16. In the third second it travels 5h by 16, and in the fourth second it travels 7h by 16. Given data is 16h, so the correct answer, the time required is 4 seconds. I repeat, what you have told, sir? I have said Galileo's formula is applicable. So if the total fraction tells, what is the meaning of the fraction? The meaning of the fraction is 7 parts out of total 16 parts. 7 parts out of total 16 parts of the journey. So in how many seconds the total journey is 16 parts? 4 seconds. And in which second it travels 7 part out of 16? 4th second. 4 seconds is the total time interval. 4th second is the moment they are referring to. So definitely answer is going to be 4 seconds. And they are saying the height h is, so time required is going to be 4 seconds. Therefore, the height will be equal to ut plus half d square. It is only half gt square. So half acceleration due to gravity, you can take it as 10, and t square is 4 ka square. So 4 square 16 into 10, 160 by 2. Answer is going to be 80 meters. Answer is going to be 80 meters. I hope the basic idea is clear to you. All right. Now, there is another problem in front of you. Try it once. Mentally try to do it once. Read the question carefully. So, I have brought few more problems for you. Can I leave it on you for a homework? 3-4 problems are there. Do you want to do it as a homework? Okay, this problem I'll help you out. Then you will do the remaining 3-4 problems as a homework. It will just give you some brainstorming. Okay. The question is, a body is released from the top of a tower of height h, takes t seconds to reach the ground. The position of the body at t by 4 seconds. So it is given to you that total time it will take is t. So t equals to 0, the body will be here. T equals to capital T, the body will be here. If you want to break it into t by 4 and t by 4 time interval, so you will say in the first t by 4 time, it will travel the least. Then in the next t by 4 time, it will travel a bit more. Next t by 4, it will travel a bit more. Next t by 4, it will travel a lot more. Okay, 1:3:5:7. So if the total height is given to you as h, this total height from here to here is given to you as h. Okay, so in t by 4 time, definitely if this height is h, so this distance will be, and in the last problem only, I have told you this, that this height from here to here is going to be h by 16. This is going to be 3h by 16. This is going to be 5h by 16. And this is going to be 7h by 16. If it is 5 intervals, then sir, h by 25, 3h by 25, 5h by 25, 7h by 25 and 9h by 25 is the last. Okay. So they are saying at t equals to, we are interested in at t equals to t by 4 seconds. This is the time at t equals to t by 4 seconds. This is the time t equal to 0, t equal to t by 4, t equal to t. So what is this total height from the ground? I will say out of the h by 16 is gone. H minus h by 16 is equal to 15h by 16 from above the ground. 15h by 16 above the ground. So if they say in the same question how much the body has traveled, the body has traveled h by 16. This is the data. Body has traveled. The body has dropped down by h by 16. But since all the options are saying above the ground, above the ground, above the ground, from the ground like that, so the answer will be 15h by 16. 15h by 16. Okay. And below the top of the tower, the answer would have been h by 16 rather than 3h by 16. Okay. I hope the remaining questions you can try on your own. Okay. So 3 NEET PYQs more and the other type of problems I have given to you. Okay. Notes can be downloaded. These 2-3 problems you can try here. Notes can be downloaded from the Telegram group. Don't forget, if you are a new person, new candidate on this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like and share to it to the rest of your friends so that everyone can learn sitting back at home. Okay. And I hope to see you all very soon in the campus. Telegram group, you must join for all the recent updates, important materials, stuff and all. Alright. So it was a very nice session. I hope you have enjoyed the same and see you on Monday then. All the best. Bye bye.
Hello students, good morning. I am your KVR sir, Botany, Sri Chaitanya College, Gosala, Vijayawada. Today's topic is molecular basis of inheritance and numerical questions. So every NEET question paper, one question will be there on the numerical part. That is why in the given 4-5 days I was trying to give you maximum number of numerical questions. Done. So we have done numerical questions from photosynthesis, respiration and some other chapters like cell division, morphology. Now we came to this lesson, that is molecular basis of inheritance and the numerical questions. Shall we start? Let us go with the first question. And the question is, out of 64 codons, how many of them codes for amino acids? How many of them codes for amino acids? Was it clear? Was it clear? So out of 64 codons, beta dekhiye, have a look here. 64 codons, 64 codons and 3 nonsense codons. So then 61 codons are called as sense codons. Sense codons codes for 20 amino acids. Sense codons codes for 20 amino acids. Was it clear? Was it clear, students? Are you getting me? 61 codons only codes for 20 amino acid, 20 different types of amino acids. We know very well in the living world, large number of types of proteins and enzymes are present, but all the kind of proteins and enzymes basically made up of these 20 types of amino acids only. 20 types of amino acids only. So that is why the answer is 61. 61 in another way, 61 is also called as sense codons. Sense codons. And the next question, what is the distance between the two base pairs in a double helical model of DNA? So in one DNA, double stranded DNA, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, adenine, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, guanine, cytosine, cytosine, guanine, cytosine, guanine. This is that 10 bases on this side and 10 bases on this side. On the other strand, 20 base pairs. The question is, what is the distance between two bases, two successive bases on a particular strand? The answer will be the 3.4 angstrom units, that is equal to 0.34 nanometers. So answer is 0.34 nanometers. What is the question asked? Distance between two successive base pairs, successive nucleotides, is 3.4 angstrom units. But 3.4 angstrom units, it is given in nanometers. 0.34 nanometers is the correct answer. Are you getting me? Was it clear? Shall we go for the next answer, next question? So beta, you should have to write down all these questions because all these questions are very important. Clear? So I am going to the next question. In Escherichia coli, completely radioactive DNA were allowed to replicate in non-radioactive medium for 2 generations. Percentage of the bacteria with hybrid DNA. Done beta. So have a look here. This is the DNA of the bacteria. This is the DNA of the bacteria. So which is already radio labeled. Now this is allowed to culture for 2 generations. For one generation 20 minutes and another generation another 20 minutes of time will take. Was it clear? Both here it is given is N14 normal nitrogen, not heavy nitrogen. So radioactive, not radioactive nitrogen. So first generation, have a look in the after 20 minutes the 2 DNA strands will be separated. I would call N14 as white color DNA. Then this is like this. After 20 minutes, both bacterial cells will have hybrid DNA. After 40 minutes, all the 4 strands will be separated. So have a look here, white strand is separated, and red strand is separated, Again the medium is having N14, that is white. 1. So after 40 minutes you have 4 bacterial cells, out of which 4 bacterial cells, 2 bacterial cells have hybrid DNA. Bacterial cells with hybrid DNA is 50%. Was it clear? So this is the answer. So this is hybrid DNA, So percentage of the bacteria with hybrid DNA will be 50%. Was it clear? So let us go for the next slide. If in a DNA molecule cytosine is 13%, adenine would be 13% cytosine. Cytosine is equal to 13%. So automatically guanine will also be 13%. 13 plus 13, 26. 26. Was it clear? So the remaining percentage means out of 100, if 36, 64 are is equal to adenine plus thymine. So what will be adenine? 64 by 2, 32 percentage. Adenine is 32 percentage and thymine is equal to 32 percentage. Was it clear? Guanine plus cytosine is equal to 26 percentage. Was it clear? Let us we go for the next question. How many pairs of nucleotides are present in two DNA helices? So DNA is a helical, double helical. He is asking about two helix. So this is one helix, this is another helix. So two helix, 34 angstrom units, 34 angstrom units. Two helix. So two helix, one helix will have 10 base pairs, another helix will have 10 base pairs. Together it is 20 base pairs, is equal to 40 bases. How many pairs? How many pairs? 20 base pairs will be there in a double helical DNA having two helices. Was it clear? How many base pairs he is asking about? Then it will be 20 base pairs. How many bases if he is asking? Then it will be 40 bases. Clear? Shall we go for the next question? How much DNA bases sequence among human beings are the same? So we do have, according to recent calculations, the Indian population as reaching to 150 crores. 150 crores of Indian people are I don't know exact number of human population across the world. Done. So of all human beings, 99.9% of DNA is same. 0.1% of DNA is different. This 0.1%, 99.9% of the DNA in all human beings in the world is same. 0.1% that is DNA that is present in every individual is in the form of VNTR. VNTR. Do you know what do you mean by VNTR? Variable number tandem repeats. Variable number tandem repeats. That VNTRs are non-coding sequences present in the DNA. Number of times that will be repeated in particular chromosome. So you do have 46 chromosomes in your body cells, and out of 46, one chromosome will have particular number of VNTRs, and the subsequent other chromosome, homologous chromosome of maternal paternal will have different number, and 23 pairs of chromosomes will have different VNTR numbers, that is different from your sister and brother also. That is why we may be having some similarities, we do have dissimilarities also, because of this number of VNTRs repeated on each pair of chromosomes. Was it clear? So how many base pair sequences human is same? 99.9%. This is not my prediction, this is the Human Genome Project. Human Genome Project HGP started in 1990, completed in 2003 year. That is Human Genome Project is a mega project of 13 years. And the next question, if the DNA has 600 bases long, how many amino acids will be coded with that mRNA? One of the beautiful question. DNA has 600 bases, of which upper strand will have 300, lower strand will have 300. That is called as 300 base pairs. 300 base pairs. This is double stranded DNA. double stranded DNA. Was it clear? Have a look. One of the DNA strands synthesized into mRNA. So mRNA will have 300 bases. 300 bases. Imagine there is no splicing, there is no introns, exons, directly 300 bases. So 3 bases on mRNA makes 1 codon. So 1 codon is 3 bases. That 300 bases by 3 is equal to 100 codons. 100 codons. Was it clear? Out of the 100 codons, minus 1 codon. What is that codon? Nonsense codon. So 99 sense codons. 99 sense codons code for 99 amino acid length polypeptide. Here the answers is given different, but the correct answer is 99. Correct answer is 99. Because you know one codon is made up of 3 bases. The mRNA is 300 bases. 300 by 3 is equal to 100. 100 codons will be made. Out of 100 codons, one will be nonsense codon. 100 minus 1, 99 are the sense codons. So amino acids are being coded by sense codons only, so that 99 amino acids will be coded. Was it clear? Clear? Shall we go for next slide? Shall we go for next slide? And the next slide is like this. Have a look here. A double-stranded DNA has 400 bases and adenine is 20%. Then percentage of cytosine will be. So DNA has 400 bases, adenine is 20%. So 20% of 89 is equal to 80. 120% is 20, 420, 80. Done. Thymine will be 20%, that will be 80. 80 plus 80, 160. 240. What is 240 bases here? What is 240 bases here? That is guanine plus cytosine. So 120 will be cytosine, 120 will be guanine. Done. Answer is not given here, and I would like to go for the fifth option, that is 30%. You can obtain it in two different ways. If adenine is 20%, thymine is 20%, this is 40%. Left is 60%. So 60%, so cytosine will be 30% and guanine will be 30%. So if he is asking about number of cytosines, then the answer is 120 is correct. If he is asking about percentage of cytosines, the 30% will be correct option. Are you getting me? Out of 120, out of 400 will be 30%. Are you getting me? The question is different and given options are different. Madhumita, have a look. Not 120, he is asking about percentage of cytosine. What is the percentage? Out of 120, out of 400, 120 are cytosines. Then imagine what is the percentage. So or else otherwise you can calculate on the next method. If adenine 20, thymine will be 20, total is 40 and the remaining is 60. So 30% will be cytosine, 30% will be guanine. So given options are not given the correct answer. For fifth option I have taken 30%. If he is asking about number of cytosins, then 120 will be correct. If he is asking percentage of cytosins, then it will be 30%. Was it clear? Shall we go for the next question? Double stranded DNA has 800 bases. Double stranded DNA has 800 bases. Adenine is 10%, then 10% of the cytosine will be earlier calculation. So leave how many bases are there. Adenine is 10% and thymine will be 10%. So total is 20%. And out of 100, if you delete 20%, 80% will be there. Out of the 80, cytosine will be, guanine will be 40%, cytosine will be 40%. From the earlier calculations, the answer is 40%. Was it clear? How do you get this answer? Are you getting me? So if adenine is 10%, thymine will be 10%, adenine plus thymine will be 20%. Out of the 100, adenine plus thymine is equal to 20%, and remove the 20, then 80, the 80, then guanine is equal to 40%, cytosine is equal to 40%. So let us we see the next slide. E. coli number of linkage groups contains 4000 genes. Then link is 4000 genes. So E. coli, that number of linkage groups, if it contains 4000 genes, can you tell me the answer? 4000 genes are there. How many linkage groups will be there? I will wait for you for a couple of minutes. Can anyone respond me online? Can you guess that answer and tell me the answer? How many linkage groups will be there in the bacteria if it is having 4000 genes? So condition to apply, statement question, statement 1, number of So statement number 1, have a look clearly. Number of linkage groups depends on the number of chromosomes, but not on the number of genes. So number of linkage groups in the earlier classes, while discussing the cell division problems, I told you bivalents, zygotiny bivalents, Pachytiny tetrads, genomic chromosome number. Is equal to linkage groups. Is equal to n. N is equal to haploid number of chromosomes present in a gamete. Number of chromosomes present in a gamete. Was it clear? Then if what is that, E. coli has 4000 genes, but all the genes are linked to one single DNA. You can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 4000 genes, let us imagine, but linked to only one single double stranded DNA, then it is only one linkage group. So bacteria may have 2000 genes, bacteria may have 4000 genes or bacteria may have 5000 genes, but the number of linkage groups will be 1. If it is asked about human beings, in human beings 2n is equal to 46, haploid number of chromosomes is equal to 23. So number of linkage groups will be 23, number of haploid number of chromosomes will be 23, and number of bivalents 23, number of Pachytiny tetrads 23. So if Pisum sativum has 14 chromosomes, 2n is equal to 14, then the question will be asked that how many chromosomes present in a gamete of the Pisum sativum, that is sperm cell or egg cell. 7. Number of bivalents will be 7. Number of Pachytiny tetrads will be 7. Number of linkage groups will be 7 in case of diploids. Mean bacteria, but all genes are present on a single circular double stranded DNA. So number of linkage groups depends on the number of the diploid or haploid chromosome numbers, but not on the number of genes. Was it clear? Shall we go for the next slide? Now read the question. E. coli, that number of read the question. A double stranded DNA has 100 bases, 89 is 20%. The number of phosphodiester bonds will be. Can anyone tell me the answer? A double stranded DNA has 100 bases, 100 bases, and adenine is 20%. Then number of phosphodiester bonds will be. Then have a look here. 100 bases is equal to 50 base pairs. 50 base pairs. 10 base pairs is equal to 1 helix. 1 helix. Then 50 base pairs is equal to 5 helix. Then anyhow, phosphodiester bonds will come from base minus 2. 50 base pairs is equal to 100 bases is equal to 100 minus 2 is equal to 98 PHDB. Phosphodiester bond is 98. Phosphodiester bond is 98. Was it clear? What is the rule for the number of phosphodiester bonds in a double stranded DNA? In a double stranded DNA, phosphodiester bonds is equal to base minus 2. Base minus 2. Already it is given. Number of bases is 100. Then base minus 2 is equal to 98. Madhumita, 98, your answer is correct. 98 phosphodiester bonds. We are going to the next slide. If you have any doubt, please backward the video and then please make a backward step and write it down the notes when and where it is required. Okay. Next question. The double stranded DNA has 100 bases, adenine is 15%, the number of hydrogen bonds in the DNA. Can anyone expect this answer? So in a double stranded DNA, 100 bases are there, but at 15% adenine. So out of 100%, you can easily calculate 15 is equal to adenine. The 15 will be the thymine. Done. So 15 plus 15, that is 30. So 100 minus 30 is equal to 70. So out of 70, 35 is equal to guanine, 35 is equal to cytosine. Rule of H bonds. H bonds in a double stranded DNA is equal to A into 2 plus G into 3. 89 into 2, 15 into 2, that is equal to 30, guanine into 3. So 89 thymine 2 hydrogen bonds, hence it is 2. Guanine cytosine 3 hydrogen bonds, 35 into 3, that is 330, 93, 15, 90 plus 15, 90 plus 15, 105. So that is 531, 135 H bonds. Was it clear? Double standard DNA, I will explain once again. 100 bases, 89 is 15, 135 hydrogen bonds, correct answer. 89, 15, automatically thymine will be 15, 15 plus 50, 30. 100 bases mean 30, that is 70. So hydrogen bonds rule, if double stranded DNA, 89 into 2 hydrogen bonds, guanine into 3 hydrogen bonds, Tagore 135 hydrogen bonds, correct answer. Shall we go for the next slide? Have you write it down? 135 second option, you are correct. Shall we go for the next slide? Our next slide will be like this. A codon consists of 3 bases and there will be 4 kinds of bases in a nucleic acid altogether. How many codons will be there? A codon consists of 3 bases. We know very well AUG. 3 bases is a codon. There are 4 types of bases. UCAG, uracil, cytosine, adenine and guanine. How many types of codons are possible? How many types of codons are possible? That is 4 to the power of 3, because 4 to the power of 1 is equal to 4. Only 4 amino acids will be coded. Number of amino acid is equal to 20. 4 to the power of 1 is equal to 4. Only 4 will be coded. 4 to the power of 2 is equal to 16. But number of amino acid is 20. 4 to the power of 3 is equal to 64 codons can code 20 amino acids. So answer is 4 to the power of 3. Was it clear? If 4 to the power of 1, only 4 amino acids will be coded. 4 to the power of 2, only 16 amino acids will be coded. We know very well number of amino acids being present in all types of proteins and enzymes will be 20 different types of amino acids. To code this 20 different types of amino acids, at least we should have to have number of codons should be more than 20. So answer is 4 to the power of 364. Was it clear? Shall we go for the next slide? Okay. The length of the DNA has 100 base pairs. How many deoxyribose sugars are present in it? So 100 bases, it is already given. 100 bases is equal to 50 base pairs is equal to 5 helix. You know very well. So 100 bases. So now here in double stranded DNA, what is the thumb rule here? Number of sugars, that is pentose sugars, is equal to number of nitrogen bases is equal to number of glycosidic bond. Because if you take, this is one pentose sugar, 1 2 3 4 5 6 4 5 CH2OH, so H OH. This is ribose sugar. This is ribose sugar. If I add one phosphorus group here, double bond OH, and this is OH. This OH and O will removed, and one water molecule will be formed. So that's secondary. Sugar plus pentose, sugar plus phosphate, and you can add one base here. You can add one base here. So this is base is 1, glycosidic bond is 1, and the sugar is 1. So 1 1 1. In a nucleoside, so number of sugars is equal to number of nitrogen bases is equal to number of glycosidic bonds. In a double stranded DNA, in the question itself it is already given if there are 100 base pairs. So my calculation is wrong. 100 base pairs is equal to 200 bases. Then 200 bases, the number of sugars will be 200. Did you get that answer? Number of sugars will be 200. 100 base pairs is 200 bases. 200 bases, the number of sugars will be 200. Number of glycosidic bonds will be 200. As a thumb rule, number of phosphodiester bonds will be base minus 2. That is 200 bases minus 2 is 198. Are you getting me? The percentage of photorespiratory loss in C3 plants, of course it is the last slide left in the yesterday's class, that is 25%. Leave it aside. So this is all about numerical questions. These are all about numerical questions on the molecular basis of inheritance. I never mean that these are only the questions from this lesson. So in large number of questions can be created. For this couple of 40 minutes I have discussed different types of questions so you can understand it. In the coming lessons we will discuss some more numericals. So thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.
Good morning. How are you all doing? Are you going through the classes, what is being discussed? Are you going through them? The other day we discussed about the details of the cockroach digestion we discussed, right? Respiration and also circulation we discussed, right? Then excretion in the animal, excretion in cockroach, mainly it is carried out with the help of the tubules called the Malpighian tubules. There are around 100 to 150 fine thin filamentous yellowish in color being present at the junction of midgut and hindgut, isn't it? And they open actually into the ileum part of the large intestine. For example, say this is midgut. So joining here I will draw one Malpighian tubule that will be opening here. Malpighian tubule opens into ileum, the first part of the hindgut. Say for example this is one Malpighian tubule. So this is lined by the epithelium called as this tubule is lined by the epithelium which is ciliated and it is secretive. That means it will be collecting the nitrogenous waste. They have fine cilia. The cuboidal epithelium which is being having the cilia. So surrounding this you will find the blood in cockroach. Blood in cockroach we call it as hemolymph, isn't it? So the internal organ, that is your alimentary canal, the Malpighian tubules, all other structures are bathed in blood. So these cells lining the Malpighian tubule, they collect the nitrogenous waste from the blood or the hemolymph and they release into the lumen of the seminiferous Malpighian tubule. All this is hemolymph or the blood. From the blood, these cells will collect the nitrogenous waste and they release into the lumen of the Malpighian tubule, where it is converted as uric acid. The nitrogenous waste collected and it gets secreted into the lumen of Malpighian tubule and it gets converted as uric acid. And this uric acid is passed on to the lumen of ileum and it enters into the next part called colon and it reaches rectum. And as we discussed yesterday, ileum also receives undigested waste from the midgut. Midgut will be helping in carrying out the process of digestion and also absorption. Whatever food that is undigested will be reaching the ileum. Along with that, nitrogenous waste also reaches ileum. Okay. So, Malpighian tubules are the structure that will be helping in collecting the waste from the blood or hemolymph in cockroach, where it releases them into the lumen. So, beside these tubules, cockroach has special cells present in the fat bodies. Fat bodies are provided with the cells named as urate cells. Cell name is not given in the NCERT. They are the cells called urate cells. These cells will store uric acid. They store uric acid for the lifetime. They are stored permanently. So, excretion carried out by fat bodies can also be referred to as storage excretion. Excretion with the help of fat bodies, we can name it as storage excretion, because it is stored in these cells of the fat body called urate cells for its life. And we have some other structures called nephrocytes. Nephrocytes are the cells present all along the heart chambers in the pericardial sinus. Yesterday I told you that the coelom or the body cavity in cockroach is called hemocoel, okay, and that hemocoel is divided into three sinuses. The upper one is called pericardial, middle is called perivisceral and the lower is called perineural. So, all along the heart chambers in the pericardial sinus there are cells called nephrocytes. They also collect the nitrogenous waste and they will be storing them in the body. And in case of male cockroach has a gland called uricose gland, or it is also being called as the mushroom gland. This gland also helps in carrying out the removal of nitrogenous waste. Okay. So, excretion in cockroach is helped by Malpighian tubules, right, that will be releasing the waste material into the ileum. Then fat bodies will carry out storage excretion. Nephrocytes also will be helping in excretion, and uricose glands, the glands which are present in male cockroach, will be carrying out the storing this waste material. Male cockroaches will release this uric acid at the time of copulation. Uricose gland, they store the uric acid and they release on the sperm bundle, right. Cockroach releases sperms in the form of a bundle called as spermatophore. During copulation, what the male cockroach will do is it releases the sperm bundle and that sperm bundle is attached to the spermatheca in the female cockroach, and after that it will spray uric acid over this spermatophore or sperm bundle. That is how male cockroach can get rid of the nitrogenous waste. So, in that case can be called the excretion by uricose gland or mushroom gland as storage. Can we call this as storage excretion just like fat body, or we cannot call it? We can call it as storage excretion from one population to another population, right? But at the time of copulation, it is releasing that waste material, it is not there in the body permanently. Whereas in the fat body excretion carried out by urate cells, this is permanent. This is permanent in the body and cockroach will be having it for life. Whereas the waste stored in the uricose gland, it gets released at the time of copulation. So it is not completely the storage excretion. It will be storing from one mating or one population to another population. So cockroach, as it is excreting uric acid, right, it goes as uricotelic, isn't it? Cockroach is referred to as uricotelic animal because it excretes uric acid. Okay, insects are uricotelic. That is the process how the animal will get rid of the nitrogenous waste, and the system called as nervous system is also being advanced when you compare with annelid. Okay, nervous system present in the form of the paired ganglia. The neural or the nervous system, this is formed by paired ganglia. These paired ganglia, they are connected to longitudinal double ventral nerve cord. Say for example, this is nerve cord. Double ventral nerve cord is present, which is connected by this paired ganglia. So animal cockroach has 6 paired ganglia in abdomen and 3 are present in thorax. These 3 are there in thorax, so we can call them as thoracic ganglia. Six are there in abdomen. So abdominal ganglia are 6 in number, 6 pairs. Thoracic are 3 pairs. Right? This is what is present in the thoracic region and abdominal region. Head region is provided with a pair of ganglia above esophagus, which are named as supraesophageal ganglia because they lie above esophagus. Brain in cockroach is also called supraesophageal ganglia because they are present above esophagus. Below esophagus there is another pair of ganglia called as subesophageal ganglia, and these 2 pairs are connected by circumesophageal connective. And from this subesophageal, ventral nerve cord extends. So head region in cockroach contains only this part. This part of the nervous system is present in the head region, and the remaining part, this all being present right from here, this is all there in the trunk region. That is thorax and abdomen. These 3 will be there in thorax and abdomen, right? So head contains only the brain along with the ganglia called subesophageal ganglia. So brain in cockroach is sensory. This is sensory in function, as well as this is endocrine. Endocrine is extra. What does endocrine means? Endocrine means it releases hormones. Cockroach also will produce hormones just like we produce. So brain in cockroach produces hormones. So as I said, brain is sensory. It will be receiving nerves from compound eyes. It receives nerves from antenna, and it also receives nerves from the labrum or upper lip. Okay, cockroach is sensory in function. That's why it receives nerves from compound eye called as optic nerve. It receives nerves from antenna called antennary nerves, and it also receives labral nerves. Okay, that's how it will be acting as sensory. The additional information is subesophageal ganglia. This is not actually mentioned in NCERT. There is another pair of ganglia below esophagus being called subesophageal. Sub means below. So this will be acting as a motor center. Subesophageal ganglia actually act as a motor center. That means it will be sending the nerves to the mouth parts as well as to the legs, mouth parts mainly, where it will be regulating the movement of the mouth parts. So that is not included in NCERT. Remember the part brain. Brain is sensory, where it receives sensory information from antenna, compound eyes, labrum, and it also acts as an endocrine, where it produces hormones. So we say that when cockroach head is being chopped or cut, cockroach is able to live for around 1 week, isn't it? Cockroach may not die when you are being cutting the head of the cockroach, because most of the nervous system is present in the ventral part of the body called belly of the animal. The ventral side of the animals is referred also as the belly. So most of the nervous system is there in the belly part of cockroach. Only little, that is brain along with subesophageal ganglion, they are alone the structures you can see in head. So as most of the nervous system is there in the ventral part of the body or the belly of the animal, animal can survive even if you remove or even if you chop the head region, right? Even if you are being chopping or even if you are cutting the head, cockroach is able to live for around 1 week. And beside this double ventral nerve cord and brain, cockroach has sensory structures. The sensory structures in cockroach include antennae. As I said, antennae are acting as tactile and olfactory. Antennae, they can detect the sense of touch. Tactile means sense of touch. Olfactory means they can detect the sense of smell. Antennae are also called feelers, where the animal can feel or sense the environment. Beside this, cockroach has compound eyes. We talk about the compound eyes functioning. Cockroach also has simple eyes being called ocelli. They are also called fenestrae. Cockroach is provided with maxillary pulps and labial pulps. Maxilla is having a 5-jointed structure. This is provided with the 5 joints, whereas labium or the lower lip also has a pulp having 3 joints. These 2 pulps called maxillary pulps and labial pulps, they are also sensory. They will be able to detect the sense of smell and sense of taste. Right? Smell, as I said, it is olfactory. taste is called gustatory. So senses are not given in our book, but simply they say they are sensory in function. Okay. So as I said, cockroach has compound eyes that is able to form images. Okay. It is able to form images. Simple eyes in cockroach, they don't help in forming images. Simple eyes, they help in detecting light intensity. Cockroach, does it move during daytime or does it move actively during night? Cockroach, is it active during the daytime or is it active during the night time? It is active during night time, isn't it? So cockroach is nocturnal, where it is able to detect the light intensity, right? Intensity of light is detected based on the sensory structures present in simple eyes or ocelli. It can make out whether it is day or night based on light intensity. Compound eyes, why they are called compound eyes? Why the eyes which are present on the dorsolateral sides of the head? Compound eyes are located on the dorsal or the upper part and the lateral sides. For example, to give you an idea, head is roughly triangular, and you find on the dorsal and lateral sides you will find a pair of the kidney shaped compound eyes. These are made up of, again, small units. Right? These compound eyes are made up of, again, small units. That's why the eye is called a compound. It's made up of units called as ommatidia. Ommatidium is singular, ommatidia is plural. So each compound eye is having 2000 ommatidia. This is the number of small units. Okay, it becomes compound because it's made up of many small units. Is the eye in human body, is it simple eye or a compound eye? We have a pair of eyes, isn't it? Are they simple eyes or compound eyes? We have a pair of eyes being present inside the orbit. Do we have simple eye or a compound eye? We have only one unit, isn't it? Your eye is having only one unit, so we have simple eyes. Whereas in cockroach it has a number of units making it as a compound. Each ommatidium can form an image. Each ommatidium is able to form an image. So if you are in front of a cockroach, right? So you have 2000 ommatidia focused from one compound eye. You have another 2000 compound eyes, ommatidia focusing on you. Or rather, in your terms, to understand much easily, so you have 4000 CC cameras are focusing on us. Okay, 2000 plus 2000 small cameras, CC cameras are focusing. So cockroach will form number of images. 2000 from right side, 2000 from left side. All these images, they are carried to the brain, where they are pooled or they are appositioned, or they are being placed side by side to get a complete picture, which is called as mosaic. All the images, they are being brought to the brain, and in the brain you will have a kind of vision being referred to as mosaic vision, because it looks like a mosaic. You might have seen mosaic flooring, no? Mosaic flooring where you have small chips of different colors, right, being placed side by side. In the same way, you have the brain gets all images being brought by the optic nerves, right, and they are being placed side by side to give the total image there. Such images which are being formed by bit, they are called as mosaic. So cockroach has a vision called mosaic vision. This vision is highly sensitive, right? Cockroach is having a vision that is with high sensitivity but with low resolution. This you need to remember. Cockroach can detect even the small movements being that are there in your body. For example, if I am there in front of cockroach, even if I am moving my hands, cockroach can detect. I may not move. I may not move. If my body structures like my hand movement or the other structures can also be detected by the animal, because the smaller parts of images are brought to the brain and it gets a total image there. So it goes highly sensitive, but it carries low resolution. Resolution is quite popular now, no? The word resolution is quite popular because all these things are having display units, like this board is having display, right? Your mobiles have display, your computer monitors have a display having resolution. So you might have heard like 720, 1080, right? These are all resolution. Resolution means the image sharpness, image being clear. More the resolution, more will be the clarity in the image, or more sharp images you will get. So cockroach will get an image to have a rough idea. It won't be clear image, but it is highly sensitive. Is it okay? So that's how the compound eyes will be helping the animal in getting images of the objects in front of it by getting around 2000 from right and 2000 from left, providing mosaic vision. That's the sensory structures. And cockroach is unisexual, isn't it? Unisexual has a technical term being called dioecious. So this uni and this di, right, they don't have any correlation. Unisexual means organism having only one sex. Dioecious means two organisms will have sexes separately. So if you have any confusion, try to take any one. Bisexual, monoecious. Naturally the other things will become the opposite. And cockroach shows sexual dimorphism. In biology, the things can be remembered easily, where you have a literal meaning. If you take the literal meaning, you can remember easily. Sexually, di means two, morphic means forms. Sexually, there are two different forms, the male form and female form. Male is different from female. So I told you in the morphology the differences. How can we identify a male cockroach? I told you in the morphology part of the lesson the characters that can distinguish a male from female. A male can be identified by having male cockroach possess a pair of anal styles. They are also called as caudal styles. Anal styles or caudal styles, they are a pair, they are unjointed, okay, and they come from or they arise from ninth sternum or ninth sternite. All these things you need to remember. Male cockroach is provided by a pair of anal styles or caudal styles, which are unjointed structures, right, and they are coming from the ninth sternum in the animal. And the second character that can distinguish from the female is wings. Wings are longer than abdomen. Wings in male cockroach, they are longer than abdomen. For example, say this is the animal, right? Imagine this as the cockroach, right? So wings in the animal, they are being present slightly beyond it. Say this is the abdomen. So wings in male cockroach will go slightly beyond abdomen, right? That's what is, wings are longer than abdomen. In female cockroach, wings are just confined to the abdomen. They don't extend beyond abdomen. Okay, so this character also helps us in identifying a male cockroach from female. So these are the two characters are seen in the male cockroach, they are absent in female. So these two are referred to as sexually dimorphic characters. Then the details of male reproductive system. Male reproductive system has a pair of testes. Testes are present from 4th abdominal segment to the 6th abdominal segment, right, present on the lateral sides of the animal. Testes will give rise to a pair of structures being called as the vas efferents. I will give you a rough diagram so that you will get an idea about the various structures. Testes are present in 3 segments which are lobular. Okay, they are lobe-like structures that will be leading into vas deferens. The 2 vas deferens, they will be joining with seminal vesicles which are not seen in the diagram. Diagram you may not be able to see the structures called the seminal vesicle, but they pass through seminal vesicle, and at the junction you will find a gland called the mushroom shaped gland or uricose gland, and from this you will find the duct called as ejaculatory duct will arise, and ejaculatory duct opens on the ventral phallomer as male gonopore. And male cockroach has also another axillary gland called phallic gland. Phallic gland opens outside through a phallic duct that will open on ventral phallomer. So you need to remember the structures here. This is the testis extending between 4th, 5th and 6th segment. The structure that arises from the testis is vas deferens, right? They pass through seminal vesicle and they open into ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct will open outside as male gonopore. Male gonopore opens on ventral phallomer. Yesterday we discussed in the external morphology the phallomeres. Male has external genitalia called phallomeres. So on the ventral phallomer it opens. So this is the gland called phallic gland, another axillary gland. And this is the gland called the mushroom shaped gland or uricose gland. This will have small tubules. The blue color I have drawn, they are small tubules. The brown color, they are long tubules. So smaller tubule, the blue color, and the outer brown colored long tubules, together it makes the gland called the mushroom gland that also help in excretion. Okay, so these two are the glands which are axillary in case of the male cockroach. I will be labeling them as A and B, right? So A and B will make up the structure called the mushroom shaped gland or uricose gland. This is one axillary gland, another axillary gland is phallic gland. So in male cockroach, these axillary glands will be helping in the formation of the sperm bundle or spermatophore. So questions are framed like the structural connection between one reproductive structure and the other. Okay, for example, the path of the sperms are produced in testes. From there, they will be passing on to the vas deferens. From the vas deferens, they enter into seminal vesicles. From the seminal vesicle, they enter ejaculatory duct. And ejaculatory duct will be opening as the male gonopore or male genital aperture, and you should also remember the location of this male genital aperture. Male genital aperture is present on ventral fallopian ear. You should also remember this. Male cockroach has 3 gonapophyses or fallopian ears called right fallopian ear, left fallopian ear and ventral fallopian ear. Okay, so ventral fallopian ear is having this male gonopore, and this male gonopore lies below anus or ventral to anus. Anal aperture is dorsal below the 10th tergum, and just below anus you will have the male genital aperture present on ventral fallopian. Okay, this is the path of the sperm cells produced by testes will be passing through the vas deferens, and vas deferens will be opening into ejaculatory duct by passing through seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle lies on ventral side, that's why it may not be seen in the diagram. Okay, in the diagram you may not be able to see the vesicle here, but it passes through the vesicle called seminal vesicle, where it is stored temporarily, and seminal vesicle also helps in gluing the sperm cell. It will glue sperms. What do you mean by gluing? Glue means it will join or it will stick the sperms together so that it forms the sperm bundle called spermatophore. So sperms are attached together to form a bundle called as the sperm bundle that happens in seminal vesicles. After that, it is formed by the 3 layers called as inner layer, middle layer and outer layer. That's not there for us in the NCERT. Inner layer is formed by the long tubules, middle layer is formed by ejaculatory duct, outer layer is formed by phallic gland. Okay, so the 3 layered structure called as the sperm bundle is formed in case of the male cockroach, and male cockroach doesn't release sperms separately. It releases sperms in the form of a bundle being called as spermatophore. Spermatophore is sperm bundle. Right? So during copulation, male cockroach will be releasing this spermatophore and it attaches to the spermathecae of the female cockroach. Okay, it attaches the sperm bundle to the female cockroach. Female cockroach has a pair of spermathecae. So to the opening of the spermathecae, it will be attaching that sperm bundle. If you are interested, I will get the diagram to have an idea, but that is not required actually. The sperm bundle is present. It has 3 layers. Like this, it will have a small aperture. So this is the outer layer. So this is the middle layer, and so this is the inner layer. Right? So inside it contains the sperms. Sperms are present inside this spermatophore. So this structure is referred to as spermatophore or the sperm bundle having 3 layers. This is the outer layer, middle, and the brown is the inner layer. Right. So this structure, it will be attaching to the spermatheca of the female cockroach at the time of copulation. That's the bundle. So the role of these glands called axillary glands. Male cockroach has 2 axillary glands being called as uricose gland or mushroom gland, and the other one is phallic gland. It is also referred to as conglobate gland. Conglobate or mushroom gland or uricose gland. These 2 are axillary glands. They help in the formation of this bundle, sperm bundle. Inner layer actually is formed by the tubules being called the long tubules of uricose gland. Middle layer is formed by the duct called ejaculatory duct. After it attaches to the female cockroach, phallic gland secretion will form the outer layer of sperm bundle. And as I said, mushroom gland also help in excretion. This gland also helps in excretion. After the spermatophore is attached to the female cockroach, it will spray uric acid on the bundle so that it will remove the uric acid stored in the animal. Okay, that's about the male system, male reproductive system, right? So these are the structures which you need to remember, along with the segments where they are present, right, and the function of the glands. Okay, right? Thank you. Have a good day.